Hey guys, it's Ben Terry Farm. Hope you like those clips there at the beginning showing the corn picker in action. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to briefly turn the camera around and show you, or basically explain what's happening. And then I also want to talk about the corn we're growing, why we're growing it, and basically some of the issues we've had with the harvest this year, and kind of talking about some of the drawbacks of growing this kind of corn, but also the extreme amount of quality and nutrition that comes from this corn and why it's worth all the hassle. So I'm going to turn the camera around and I'm going to show you the picker real quick. All right, so here's the picker. The first clip was just showing the corn. You see the corn stalks here going into the picker, and it has these rolls in here. Those are the snapper rolls, and then we have a conveyor. You can see the paddles like going up through there. There's one of the paddles, and there's another paddle. And it just basically takes it up into an auger, and then it comes out the auger here. And this is where our husking bed is. And I just put these brushes on this year, replacing these old star-shaped rubber ones. A lot of them are busted, so I took all the good ones, put them on this roll, on this set here, and I replaced this whole back set with new brushes, and it seems to be working pretty well. Definitely getting more husk than the year before. And then once it gets passed down through these husking rolls, it should be husked. Not all of them do get husked, but what it does is it then drops into this hopper, into the elevator. Elevator goes up and dumps it in the wagon. And the only other thing, kind of important thing you need to see here, see, look, looks like we're losing some ears, which we always do. The only other thing to consider is this thing here, which on top it takes all the gross material, the stuff that's way larger than corn kernels, and it throws it out the back end there, off to the side. And then anything that's smaller than the corn, I'm trying to get that to focus, you can see those little slats down in there, will fall down through like little pieces of dirt. And the corn kernels that are loose that fall off come out this little opening right down there. All right, so that's kind of the overview of the corn. Let's give you a shot of the wagon and how beautiful this stuff is. It's just really incredible corn. My family and I, like, we unload this on an elevator into a bin, and as the corn's coming out of the bin wagon here, we just grab the nicest ears and we kind of throw them off to the side for seed for next year. We do save the seed, which is why this corn is so important. It gives us lots of resiliency with being able to save seed every year and to improve the seed every year. And it's just gorgeous. Like, we just marvel at all the different colors, all the different shades of purple, orange, red, yellow. And not only that, but the size of the ears. They're huge ears. My kids and wife I just had a breakdown. That's kind of the theme of this year of the harvest, has been breaking down constantly. This is a very old machine that I'm using. And some people might wonder, why is it that you would bother with using a 2-row machine? I have tractors. Well, I don't have a combine, but my tractors are more powerful than a 2-row machine would need, or I could just pay a custom harvester to come and harvest this corn with the combine. But there's several reasons why I don't want to do that. The biggest reason is it all comes back to nutrition. The corn on the ear will store way better than a combine that actually shells the corn while it's combining. And so for me, that's extremely important. The other reason is that this corn does not have the stalk structure of the GMOs, or I should say stalk strength of the GMOs and hybrids. When I say GMO, that's almost always conventional. Those are the guys spraying the Roundup, the T4D, dicam, all those different things that they use to spray the corn that it might be Roundup ready or resistant to. That's the conventional side. And then you have hybrids, which are also can be conventional or organic hybrids. The problem is the hybrids are not like this open pollinated. The open pollinated, it's true. It breeds true to seed every year. You can save seed from it. You cannot save seed from hybrids. You cannot save the seed from GMO and expect the same outcome every year. And that's what happened is when they went to the hybrids and the GMO, they selected for incredible stalk strength. And the reason why that's important is because then you can let the corn stay out in the field a lot longer and let it dry to the point at which it can be combined. Whereas the ear corn that we're harvesting here, we do not have the stalk strength that they do. And so this corn, and I'll give you some examples here, it will fall over far long before the GMOs and the hybrids. But like I said, either conventional or organic, most of the corn, 99.9% of the corn out there is not open pollinated. And so let me give you an example here. See, we have a good bit of corn that has fallen down. Now something like this, stalk right here, nice big ear on there that fell down on the ground. The corn picker will pick that up as long as it doesn't snap off before it gets up in there. That's fine. But a lot of it, I shouldn't say a lot of it, but a decent amount of it will get lost. And we also have this problem a lot. Okay, the animals love this stuff. They really, really love the open pollinated. They know what the best quality is, and they know what they like to eat. And the problem is I'm one of the few people growing open pollinated corn. I guess I should continue the point that I was talking about before. But basically this corn will fall over way before the other stuff. And so if we pick it and leave it on the ear, there's way more airspace when you're storing it to go through. And so you can pick it before it's like extremely dry and ready to be combined. If I waited till it was combined, a lot of this corn would be falling over. Now this year was an exception. We could have possibly combined it because we had almost, 5 straight weeks with no rain in October, which is perfect for drying your corn down and getting ready to combine. But that's not going to be the case most years, and so we need to be able to pick it and store it on the ear so the airflow can go through, and we store it in a wire crib where air can go through it and blow. The prevailing winds will dry it down nicely. So that's why I go through the hassle of picking. That's a second reason. Nutrition, and then being able to pick early so that we get it all before it falls down. And then those I guess that's basically two big reasons why we pick. But I did want to talk about one more thing, which is what we use the corn for and why it's so important to grow this versus the hybrids. And so this corn is far superior. This is what corn used to be. Corn, like any other plant, it all started off with being fertile and being able to save seed and being able to reproduce every year. And what they did was they bred for yield. Everything is about yield with the new varieties of corn. And this applies to conventional and organic. That's all they cared about. But what happened was the quality started suffering. The protein is down massively. This corn will be easily over 10% protein. Compare that to 7 to 8% for the conventional and hybrid organics that guys are growing. So that's huge. That's like a 20 to 25% increase in protein. The overall quality of the corn in terms of what the animals want to eat, they'll choose this every single time. The deer know, the cows know, everything that eats this. Of course, we don't feed our corn to cows. It only goes to our chickens and ducks. But we're all about quality. We want that top quality fed to our animals for the highest health and the best health for the animals. And in turn, this is the best product for us to eat and consume and to sell to our customers. And so that is a huge factor in why we grow this corn despite the loss in yield, because we're never going to get the yield. I shouldn't say never, but we may come close. This corn, right now, we're close to 80 bushel an acre, which has been our best year in the 3 years we've grown it. So I'm very happy with that. And like, for instance, an average yield around here would be 120, 130. About 10 miles from here, they'll get 150 plus generally. So you're looking at about half the yield, but with increase in protein, the quality, the inputs are way less. All we use is crimson clover, cow manure, and turnips. That's what feeds the soil. That's what gets us the amazing giant ears that we have, such as this one right here. Most of the ears on average, these are huge ears. We're talking like, we've measured quite a few of them. We're getting up. We haven't quite found a true foot long ear yet. But like any random ear you can use, it's just gorgeous stuff. And this was a great year for drying, so we have very little mold or anything like that. And the deer love it, the animals love it, the wildlife loves it. That's actually one of our biggest problems I've noticed in this field. So behind me, it's a long ways to the woods, but on the other side of where I'm standing, on the other side that I was picking, there is a fair amount of woods and brush where the deer can come out and the raccoons can come out and kind of hide and go back and forth. And that side is just devastated compared to behind me here on the hill. Like, honestly, the standability on the hill was pretty decent. It wasn't bad at all. And so I'm happy with that. And I think we can always improve. We're going to keep improving the soil. And we're just going to keep pushing for better and better yields. This corn, without falling over, if it stood like the low quality, poor nutrition, GMO stuff that can basically puncture tractor tires, it's so strong. That stuff, if it stood like that, this would have been easily over 100 bushel an acre corn. There was no doubt in my mind about it. Seeing all the stuff that has fallen over and been on the ground, but that's something we'll just continue to try to improve on. And I'm not going to give up on it because we're seeing success. We're seeing improved yields every year. And it's been very enjoyable. Besides the breakdowns, that constant, this machine could easily be 30, 40 years old or more. There's a lot of chains, a lot of moving parts. This year, the chains kept breaking. I've learned all about roller chains now. Learned my lesson about keeping spares on hand. I think out of the 12, actually, there's probably like 15 plus chains on here. I've had 4 or 5 of them break now, so should have been done a long time ago. Rain is on its way this evening, so we're going to try to get back to it and knock this out, and hopefully then we can kind of rest a little bit. This is the last thing we got to harvest this year, so. All right, well, I just wanted to share that. I wanted to share the corn harvest, show you guys what I'm doing, how it's going, and just share with the world like what I consider the right direction to go back to farming, where the farmer saves the seed and he's concerned about the health and quality and not just yield. One thing I've been fond of saying over the last couple of years is, what is a good yield of something? Because I often compare like what we're doing here on our farm to like what kind of yields they get in the conventional and otherwise organic world. And to me, I always say, what is a good yield of something that poisons the end consumer, the animals or the people, and not only that, but the bystanders, the microbes in the soil, the wildlife that come in contact with it? And my answer to that is 0. I think a good yield for all the GMOs would be 0. For all the chemical farmers out there, that would be way better for the earth, way better for all of us. So I really, at the end, don't even care to compare the yields that we're getting here with what they're doing, because I don't even think it's not an apples to apples comparison. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and please share it if you found it interesting. Thank you.